Phones are gonna go
Nobody's
off.
in the car.
Is it gonna go off?
Nobody. Stuff's happening.
Oh my god, film that.
I'm filming.
What is up, guys? It's Ava, and today is my very first story time I have ever done on this YouTube channel. I've never done a story time on this channel because honestly, I literally did not think that I had good enough stories to put together a story time for. I don't know, I'm kind of like unproblematic. I stick to my business. I just, I never thought that I had a story to tell you guys. And the whole time that like the story time phase on YouTube was happening, I was going through the craziest story of my freaking life. This is a story that I've told so many times to my friends, to my family. This is like the story of a literal lifetime, and for some reason I literally just never thought to tell it to you guys. Personally, I was always very scared about it because I think it all kind of stemmed from, how do I explain this? It's basically a story about how my life became haunted over the past year of my life, if that makes sense. This is a 1,000 billion trillion % true story. I literally have witnesses. I have videos on my phone. I have like so many witnesses to this story. It's like I have text message receipts. This story is a true story if I've ever told one in my life, and I hope that you guys enjoy it because it is very interesting. If you guys want to know how my house got haunted and how it still is haunted, then keep watching and turn the lights off, and hopefully this will scare you a little bit. Okay, so first I'm gonna give you a background on my paranormal situation so you guys know where I was at this point. Growing up as a kid, I was always extremely interested in it. I loved scary movies. Scary movies never really scared me. They just made me more interested. Although I was never the type of person to be like, yeah, let's do the Ouija board. Like I would never do the Ouija board just I don't want to die. I was always very interested in what it all meant. I just wanted to learn more. I moved out of my family's house when I was a sophomore in college, and that was the first time I ever lived alone, and I didn't decide on getting a roommate because I don't know, I didn't think I needed one, and I was okay with living alone. Moved to LA, and the first place that I moved to was a city called Bel Air. Clean area, lots of safe people, safe things happening. And I loved my apartment. My apartment was awesome. It felt safe, it felt homey. I decorated it literally so well. It was the first place that I really went hard on decorating. You guys remember the apartment tours. I was like super happy in that place. And I didn't feel a single weird vibe in that place because it was built like literally 4 months before I even moved in. So there was like no previous history. Nobody lived in the apartment that I was about to move into. I was the first person. So it was a very clean area. There were cameras everywhere. It was super safe, super lighted, super gated. If I came home at like 3 in the morning, I would feel safe going up to my house. Like it was a good zone. Pretty sure it wasn't built on any like weird Indian reservation where like haunted stuff happens. Like my house growing up, it's built on an old Indian reservation. It just seemed like a fresh start. Everything was great. I ended up living in that place for about like a year and like 3 months. And then things started to change. There was a time last year where I came in contact with somebody that was very sketchy, creepy as hell, the creepiest person I've ever met. Basically, this friend was dealing with something very dark. To have someone in front of my face that was like basically essentially living a scary movie, for some reason I was really interested. Everything about what they were doing, I wanted to know the secrets, I wanted to expose, not expose like on the internet, but just like expose for myself. I wanted to know. I knew something was going on and like I knew it, so I wanted the full story because you never want to learn half of it and then just be like, peace out. Like I wanted to know the full story and I was ready for it because you guys know me, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. Like if something sketchy is going on, I want to read all about it. I want to do research. I want to go to the library. I just want to know. I was very interested. I wanted to know, and so was the entire Savage Squad. We were extremely interested. We were all like literally detectives. This turned into a lot of prying around in literal, some paranormal stuff that we literally should not have. Definitely was not the best idea. And for me, it was just, it's creepy because this whole story, it's like, I always heard other people tell ghost stories And I would want to believe them, but I would just be like, okay, like there's no way that actually happened to this person. They probably just made up a fake ghost story to tell someone during Halloween, and it's probably fake and fabricated and it's probably not real. So that's kind of why I was like never really scared of anything bad happening, because I hadn't experienced it for myself until literally me and the Savage ended up contacting a ghost. And we ended up getting this like app that could contact ghosts, which of course at first you would think like, okay, an app that contacts ghosts, like it's obviously not going to work. It's this app called Ghost Radar, and you can literally actually download it. It's free, this is not an ad, but basically it is this app that can show you in a radar where all the ghosts are around you. So basically me and the Savage Squad are using this Ghost Radar app, which essentially scans the area that you're in, and then it'll tell you how many ghosts are by you, whether there's a ton, just one, or like a crap ton of ghosts. And we're using this app and we're sitting in a car in the middle of a cul-de-sac and it's 2 a.m. So just don't ask how we got into this situation, but this is the situation we were in. And we're like contacting ghosts in the middle of a cul-de-sac at 2 a.m. in the forest. We're using this app and the app is saying stuff like fog, and then the car gets foggy and we're like, hee hee, like, oh, that must not mean anything, hee hee. But we just assumed these were coincidences because of course any car can get foggy and any windshield could like tweak out. So me being the type of person that I am and loving scary movies and knowing what happens in scary movies, I start for some reason speaking to the ghost or whatever was even nearby. Like the Ghost Radar app said a ghost was close, just one, and I start speaking to it. For some reason, don't ask, that's just what my mind decided to do. And I'm like doing the typical like, ooh, if you're there, give us a sign. Oh, like, if you're really there, show us you're there. The second that I tell this ghost, mind you, it's moving closer on the Ghost Radar app, like it's hopping over to our car. 2 a.m. in this cul-de-sac, we've been sitting there for like a freaking hour, and I'm like, ooh, if you're there, give us a sign. As soon as I say that, the freaking Ghost Radar app goes blank. In that exact moment, in the cul-de-sac, a black car that had been sitting in this cul-de-sac the entire time, the entire night that we were there, nobody had walked out of their house, nothing. Literally all the lights in this car turn on and it just starts blinking.
Oh my god, stuff's happening. Oh my god, film that.
I'm filming.
They're gonna come out here. The car is going off and there's no alarm. Just blinking.
Right as the ghost.
The ghost app said blinking, or blink.
When
Wait,
is it gonna go nobody's in the car.
Is it gonna go off?
Nope.
All the lights are on in the car. The headlights, the lights inside the car, the tail lights, the blinkers are flashing, but there's no engine noise. Nobody like beeped the car to be on. Nobody walked by it to set off the alarm. It was as if the car alarm was going off, but no noise was coming out of the car. It was just pitch black, dead silent in the middle of the street.
I just have to roll down my window.
Okay, drive next to the car. Should I get outside?
Yeah, go look.
I mean, the only reason why something could ever escalate is if we actually follow what the ghost is giving us.
True.
Who's inside?
No one.
No one's in the car. All the lights are on. Roll the window down. Roll the window down.
It's locked.
Nobody was walking their dog in the middle of the night and then the dog went by the car, sniffed it, and the car alarm went off. That was not the situation. We looked all around us and the street was empty. All the lights in the houses were off, and literally suddenly this car is flashing its lights into our eyes, just blinking. We're freaking out, we're screaming, so I pull out, this is my old phone, this is my new phone, this is my old phone. I pull out my old phone and I start recording this because I needed, I needed to remember this moment because this was the first moment in my life that I had really freaking contacted a demon. I contacted some paranormal, I contacted the underworld. Essentially, all of us come to the conclusion that we have all confirmed and agreed that we literally just contacted a ghost and it responded. So we're like super fired up because this Ghost Radar app actually worked, and we just saw that the ghost was trying to contact us and give us a sign that it was capable of doing paranormal things by making this car blink in our face when the ghost app said blink. So we're now talking to a ghost. So about 20 minutes later, after the car had stopped blinking, I start asking the ghost app again. The app says blink again. And in that moment, the car turns its lights on and begins to blink again.
Tell us something useful.
No.
Like what?
show us something.
Second time it's going off.
Like what?
And then about 30 minutes later, we asked the Ghost app to do it again, and sure enough, it did.
The third
Third
time.
Oh my
The car is going
We
off.
switched positions.
After we dropped the situation on figuring out what this person was, I don't know, the person that was contacting the spirits and stuff, I went back to my life. I thought my life was all fine and dandy and amazing. And then I started dating Alex Hayes. So when I started dating Alex Hayes, he kind of lived with me for I don't know, a couple weeks out of the month because he's from Australia, so he had to have a place to sleep. In those 2 weeks, literally the craziest stuff started happening. Lighting a candle so the demons don't come in. At this point in my life, Paris started to act extremely weird and I didn't know what it was. You guys know Paris, you guys know she's a super chill cat. She's on the floor right now just doing her own thing. Up until that point, I'd never seen her meow at anybody. Anybody knew. She'd never even meowed at dogs, other cats. She was essentially a stuffed animal cat. I would literally throw parties in this apartment. 30 new people in my apartment and Paris would be tossed around from person to person, meeting everybody. Super good with strangers. Super good. At this point in my life, Paris started to do this thing where if she would walk to certain parts of the house, she would start to make this really weird, dark, gurgling noise. It wasn't a meow, it wasn't a hiss, it was not even a cat noise. It was creepy. I automatically kind of joked in my head being oh, Paris is acting weird in certain places of the house. Maybe she sees a ghost, maybe she sees something that I don't see. Because when houses are haunted and they become haunted, usually it's a known fact that animals can sense it before you and animals can see things that you can't see. So when Paris started to act weird in only certain locations of the house, I just assumed that, I don't know, she was either acting really weird or maybe she did actually see something that I didn't see. Paris always wanted to sleep in my bed with me, and so much so to that when I would close the bedroom door to go to sleep, she would wait outside my door so close to where she would be touching my front door and she would just sleep against the door all night. I was used to Paris literally trying to do anything possible just to sleep with me in my bed. One night, Paris was meowing super hard to get into my room. Paris was meowing, 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 trying to get into my bedroom. I am being the nicest parent ever. I'm oh my God, this is what Paris wants. She loves sleeping in my bed. I'm gonna be the nicest parent ever. And I scoop her up from the living room, I put her on my shoulder and I walk with her next to my bed, and I was naked because I just gotten out of the shower. So I'm really excited. I'm oh, I'm gonna put Paris down on my bed. She's gonna be so happy. I walk over to my bed, right where the left side of the bed is, walk with Paris over to the bed. I'm naked and I'm here, Paris. And I try to put her down onto the bed. And the second I get her close enough to the bed, she literally just goes, meow, and screams and slices my chest open. Literally my boob was bleeding. My other boob was bleeding. I think I still have scars from when Paris did that. She literally slices me open and is so freaked out and runs completely as far away from that bed as she could go. What purpose was that? Because she's never done anything like that in my entire life of owning her. So that made me a little bit confused. I was okay, why is she being so weird? That makes absolutely no sense. I didn't do anything wrong. I was putting her in her favorite spot. Something is a little bit weird. So just remember that. Just remember how she didn't want to go into my bed. So one day at probably 11 o'clock in the morning, Alex and I were cleaning up the house and he was helping me clean up the living room. I remember this day of my life, I was really trying to clean the best I could. I was I'm gonna clean this house so good that I'm gonna find all the loose change in the house, gather it, and then put it on my kitchen table. So I lit 3 candles and I put all the loose change literally in the entire house in the center of my kitchen table. And I turn around and I walk into my bedroom to begin cleaning my bedroom. I turn around and I take 1 step to my bedroom and I hear a single coin drop to the hardwood floor. And I thought, okay, well that's weird because the change was all on the center of my kitchen table. Nobody else is really in the house. Alex was in the bathroom. And I thought that was super weird also because I had a 5x7 carpet underneath the rug. So even if by chance there was some sort of, which this isn't even possible, but say a coin got loose and decided to roll onto the floor, it would have rolled onto the carpet. There was carpet all around the bottom of the tables. But for some reason, I am turning around, walking to my bedroom, and I hear a hard coin drop on the hardwood floor, which is literally nowhere by where any of the change was, and I turn around and there's a coin on the carpet. A coin was face down on my carpet, but it was her dropping deliberately on hard wood. I put the change back. I'm just like, okay, well, that was kind of weird. Like, with everything that's been happening, that's like a little bit weird. At this moment, Paris had been acting weird for about 2 weeks now after the bed incident, and then she started making these like weird noises around the house. Paris was like being a little bit just different, just not herself. After I put the change back, walked to my room, I hear Paris make the creepiest noise ever. It was like I'm just gonna do a rendition of what it sounds like. Yeah, it was like, I'm gonna look up a video of like cat being possessed, and that's the sound effect she made. I run outside the bedroom and I see Paris staring at the candle right by my like coffee table by my living room, and she's there like on both legs, just like, I scoop her up. My first instinct was to pick her up and move her to the spot that she was making the noise. I put her in my arms and I start to like kind of walk around the candle. She's fighting my arm. She's trying to get away. She's making this like very sick noise. I walked away from the coffee table where the candle was and where the couch was, and she's totally fine. And I pick her up and I walk her over to by the kitchen where the second candle was. And she does the noise again, but then stops the second I leave another spot. Alex comes out of the bathroom and he's watching me and he's like, oh, like, what do you think's going on? I explain to him the situation about the change falling, and he's like, okay, well, let's, for fun, count all the change that you put on the kitchen table. Let's divide it to make it more organized. Let's count how many of each there are of everything. And we'll close the bedroom door, we'll clean the bedroom, take showers, come back like an hour later, and see if everything is still the same. There's literally no way in any form of life that the change is gonna change. So we count the amount of change, and I remember there were 6 pennies. I asked Alex, I said, how many pennies did you count? He said 6. I just want to make sure that there's 6 pennies in there, because if we overcount or undercount, we're just gonna freak ourselves out, because, you know, like, there's just no point. I'm just gonna count one last time. 6 pennies. We go into the bedroom, we close the door, we leave Paris out there, and we begin cleaning the bedroom, we take showers, we come back like an hour and a half later. I open the door, and Alex walks out, counts the amount of pennies, and goes, are you with me? No, what are you talking about? I'm not messing around, you know, in the F word. He's like, I'm not messing around. He's like, did you go out there when I was in the shower? Obviously not. I like, it came out of nowhere. I'm like, I'm not trying to play a joke. He goes, there's 7 pennies. So I count the pennies, and sure enough, there's 7. In this moment, we pretty much accept that the place is haunted, and it sounds funny, but we kind of just didn't care. We thought it was actually kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, like that explains a lot. So a couple days pass and weird stuff keeps happening, and this becomes like the weirdest week of my life. The next night I was home alone with Paris, and I remember sitting on the couch and I was like editing and also watching TV. Paris usually likes to sit like on the couch right behind me, like up on the ledge. It had been a while since Paris had sat on the ledge, which was like her second favorite spot of the house. Propping on the ledge during the day, taking a nap. Her favorite place. And she hadn't been there for a really long time. So I'm home alone, it's late at night, I'm editing, I'm like, okay, where's Paris? I start looking around, you know, I'm like looking at her usual spots. I'm like, okay, Paris. She's not responding to me calling her, which is like very weird for her. All of a sudden, I look to the right of me and I'm staring at the front door of the house, and Paris is like 6 feet from the door, directly facing it, making no noise, with like an arched cat back. You know when cats are scared, they look like this? Paris is completely petrified of the front door. The front door that she's literally lived with for like over a year of her life. She's staring directly at it, making no noise, and she's very scared. In that moment, I'm watching it, I see Paris, and I know what's happening. My heart drops because I know exactly what's going on. Paris and whatever is in my house is facing off. The thing is at the front door, and she's completely petrified. She's scared. And I'm just watching this go down in my living room alone at like 11 o'clock at night. So I call to her and I'm like, Paris. She doesn't move. She just starts to make that freaking gurgly noise again. She's like, The thing that was creepy about it was that it wasn't a growl, and it wasn't like, it just wasn't a cat noise. It was like some noise that was like some noise that cats and dogs specifically reserve for like demons. I don't know what else, because honestly, I don't even think they'd make that noise if like an intruder came into the house. I literally don't think they would. This noise was like demonic. I don't know if Paris was possessed or something. I don't know, but this noise was wrong on all levels. She makes this noise and I'm like, Paris! And then she kind of shakes out of it and then just like freaks out, like goes and like runs just into my bedroom completely away, just the furthest she can get from the front door. I knew that something was by my front door of my house. Paris was trying to fight it, trying to like stand up to it, be cooler than it, and it literally just freaked her out so much and intimidated her so much, she literally ran away. And I'm just like, okay, Paris was my only thing between us. Like, Paris was trying to keep the house safe, and now Paris is scared. So I'm just sitting in the living room, and I know that something is at my front door that is more intimidating than Paris is. So the next day happened, and I was telling everybody that I knew about the noises that Paris was making. Pretty much everyone that I know is telling me to take Paris to the vet because maybe she could be sick, maybe she could have stomach problems, that's why she's making those noises. So I'm like 99.9% sure Paris is 100% healthy. Other than when she came in contact with whatever she was coming in contact with, she was a completely normal cat, super loving, super chill. You could toss her around. No stomach pain at all. I touched her stomach, I like touched her around to make sure she wasn't having pain in any area. So I pretty much knew that Paris was healthy, but I decided to take her to the vet anyway, just to be sure and clear my mind in case it was something medical. I didn't really know how to show the vet the problems that I was having because she only made it inside the house. She never made it on command if you touched her any part. So the only way that I could show the vet what she was doing was to take a video. So on my old phone, I got my friend to take a video of me walking around the house with Paris into one of the specific spots that she felt really uncomfortable in. This is the video. As you can see in the video, Paris was making those noises around the area of my house that was like right by the front door, where the front door meets the kitchen. I get a call later from the vet thinking it's going to be, you know, Paris has constipation, that's what she's making those noises, it's totally normal, I've seen this before in cats. I get a call from the vet and I answer it and I go, hello? The vet is like a 28-year-old woman. She goes, hi, is this the owner of Paris? Yes. We ran a few tests on Paris. Doesn't look like anything weird is going on internally. She doesn't have anything lodged inside of her. Her stomach looks totally fine. X-rays are totally fine. So I'm kind of like, okay, like I expected that. Give me some information, woman. This girl gets low in her tone and tells me on the phone, she goes, yeah, I just have a few questions maybe that I could help you figure out better what is going on here. Like, okay, did you have anybody new recently move into the house with you? The second she says this, my heart drops once again because no, I've not had anyone move into my house recently. She knew everyone that had ever been in my house. But when she said that, when you know that your house is doing some weird stuff inside of it, you've had some weird paranormal things happening recently, you just kind of know what this lady is saying to you. She goes, really? Did you recently move houses or anything? Did you possibly get anybody new pets? Any new animals inside the house? Are there any lifestyle changes recently with Paris? Are you sure nobody's moved inside the house? It felt like she was trying to tell me something beyond veterinary advice, if you know what I mean. Seems like this chick had seen this in cats before and knew what was really going on. This lady goes, okay, well, I don't think that this is a veterinary issue, but I think it might be a good idea to contact someone else that could help you with this situation. So of course, she hangs up the phone. I'm freaking out. Literally, the vet just told me I need to contact someone else that can help me better with this problem. Who else would I contact? The police. So that was sketchy. Paris comes home. She's still doing the creepy noises in the 3 places in the house. She won't sleep with me anymore. Things are just going downhill this week. I was tired, I was sleeping all the time, I wanted to take naps all the time. And the night that I came home from the Teen Choice Awards, I was supposed to go out to dinner with all my friends and ended up falling asleep on the couch for like 2 hours. When I woke up from the couch, all my friends were over to get something to eat, but Alex was becoming really sick. He didn't know what it was caused from because he felt great all day, but for some reason he was nauseous, he felt like wanting to throw up, he felt really sick and like gross inside. He didn't know what was causing his sickness. For some reason that night, Alex and I just got into like the biggest fight ever, like this huge, totally like for no reason fight. And this is why I know that it made absolutely no sense, because we were fighting about, I don't even remember why we were fighting, but it was like intense and it was in the dark. The lights were off because we were like trying to go to bed. And it was so bad to where I literally took my pillow on my bed and I was like, fine, you know, like I'm just gonna sleep on the couch. Took my pillow, it was probably like 2 in the morning, and I brought my pillow out to the living room and literally was trying to like make my bed to sleep on the living room couch. Going back and forth for a while, all of a sudden I just stopped fighting and I'm kind of just like, this is really stupid, and honestly, probably the reason why you're getting sick and why we're fighting about literally nothing is whatever is in this house trying to haunt the house. Because if I've ever seen scary movies, I know that demons and all that stuff try to tear you apart from who's closest to you. They make you sick for no reason, and they make you fight about dumb stuff all the time. So we hug it out, we make up. It's now probably like 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we make up and we're just like, it's probably just whatever's in the house is trying to tear us apart. So I decide that I'm going to go back into the living room and retrieve my bedroom pillow so that I could sleep in the bed and just fall asleep. As I open up my bedroom door, I see the door from across the apartment. It's probably like 30 feet away. Like, it's a far away door. Mind you, a door that was closed all day. Like, nobody even went into that room. It was the bathroom, like the guest bathroom. That door was closed. All of a sudden, the second that I am opening my door to get my pillow, this door starts to slowly close right in front of my face. And on top of that, the door was creaking the entire time with the loudest, most obvious creak that literally came from like a soundtrack of a scary movie. This door is like, and like the door makes noise when it closes. I turn back to Alex and I just literally start crying my eyes out. I'm like hyperventilating, I can't breathe, I'm freaking out. And Alex is like in the bed, he's like, what did you just see? What did you just see? And I'm bawling my eyes out. And he's like, you have to pull it together and tell me what you just saw. I can't, like, you can't tell me what's going on if I can't understand you because you're crying so hard. Cannot even explain what I just saw because I'm trying to even process if I just saw what I just saw. And I just keep saying the door, the door, the door. He starts freaking out, I'm freaking out. I get into the bed, I'm sobbing my eyes out. Tell me what you just saw. And in the best way that I could, underneath like all my freaking out, hyperventilating, I tell him the door literally just closed right in front of my face. He's like, what door? I'm like, the bathroom door. And he's just like, call Meredith, call Meredith. Like, just call Meredith, because Meredith lived a floor below me. For some reason, Meredith is awake, answers the phone on the second ring, and I'm sobbing my eyes out, and I'm like, Meredith, please come over. This has gone too far. We flip all the lights on in the house. We go straight over to the door, which is now closed. Air conditioning was off. I'd never, in my 1.5 years of living there, had any problems with doors opening, closing, creaking. It was a brand new apartment. None of the doors creaked at all. So Meredith came over and we opened up the bathroom door. We were so scared, but nothing was inside of it. So her and I, she helped me take the door and like, we leaned on it to create pressure. We slammed it. We closed it slowly. Like, we literally tested, myth busted, every possible way that that door could creak. We tested all the doors in the house. We tested the door right next to it, slammed it, closed it, everything. Did not creak once. But the time that the ghost does it, it just decides to creak like the house was 1900 years old. Alex says that he has somebody that he knows that lives in some random country, and he basically tells me that this guy is like a medium and like knows things. I never experienced anyone like that before at all. I went to like a psychic once, but this was like more focused on ghosts. So he's like, I think this can help you, and he calls this guy up. I literally don't know him. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know my name, doesn't know my story, doesn't know anything. I get on the phone with this guy. He's like, hello? I'm like, hi. This guy proceeds to tell me, he goes, okay, so when you walk into your house, I can tell that it's an open concept house. It's on the 3rd floor, so it's not on the bottom. Yes, it's creepy. He goes, when you walk into your house, you have to make a left to get into the kitchen, right? I'm like, yes. He goes, there is a little bit of a hallway with a wall right next to the hallway that leads into the kitchen. Yes. He says, that's where the first one is. That's where the first one is. This guy goes, I can sense that you have a big glass window and none of it opens except for a small part. So I'm like, okay, yes, I have an entire wall that's a window and the only thing that opens is like one glass door. He goes, that's in your living room. I see that you have an open concept living room and you have a couch. It's an L-shaped couch and the L sits by the window. This guy goes, that's where the second one is. He sits on the couch by the window. That was where Paris, that was where her spot was. Freaking second ghost thing sits on the couch by the window. In that moment, I think back to all the times I slept on that couch, sat there naked, editing photos, watching television. There was a ghost just sitting with me that entire time. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. The guy then proceeds to go, you have two men in your house, like adult men that are ghosts or spirits or whatever that are in your house, and they're both like tag teaming and messing with you. Grown men messing with me. Oh my God. He then goes, besides those 2 points, they also like to hang out in your bedroom. Let me just remind you, this is a true story. So at this point, I'm freaking out because that explains why Paris did not want to go to my bedroom that one night, because probably there was one sleeping in my bed. Mind you, I slept naked in that bed, which means I slept with a ghost. I don't even know how many nights of my life, but that was a thing. Naked. I slept naked with a damn man ghost. That's the title of this video. I slept naked with a ghost. That's the title. So at this point, I'm freaking out, but I'm also super motivated to obviously get rid of these two ghosts because I'm sick and tired of them being in my house. The penny was cute, it was funny. The cat growling, like that's a little bit creepy, whatever. Like I could have lived with that. Not two guys in my house, in my bed, like no. Then I asked Guy, I'm like, okay, so there's two ghosts in my house. How do I get rid of them? He then proceeds to tell me what is now the scariest thing that I have to live with every day of my life. This guy tells me that I can't get rid of them. Once I let myself into this world, I can't escape it. This guy proceeds to tell me that apparently there's a realm in which we live in, and then a realm in which whatever demon, spirit, paranormal things live in, and there's also a realm that we all live in. So there's essentially like third realms. Basically, ghosts can see everything that we do. We can't see what they do. Basically, if you're interested in ghosts, paranormal stuff, anything like that, the ghosts know. They know. And you instantly become a target and a hotspot for that kind of stuff. If you come in contact with them or you're super interested in them, you do a Ouija board, you do anything like that, they can cross worlds into yours and they can just follow you around. They can mess with you because you have let them in and you've shown them that you're interested. And that's what they're looking for, is someone interested that could either help them, save them, or help them get something that is like evil. So I'm freaking out because I thought back to the time that we contacted that ghost and the car was blinking, and I'm just like, okay, that was probably what opened me up to like that realm when I was like talking to whoever wanted to listen. So I'm asking this guy, I'm like, well, how did I get involved in all this? That ghost that I experienced the car situation with had just found me. So essentially, the ghost that I contacted that turned the car blinkers on, like walked 50 miles and found my house and was like, this is the girl, I'm just gonna camp out in her house. He basically said that I should find a way to block them out of my life, spiritually and mentally block them out. He said I need something stronger than just mental blocks. So I need something stronger than my friends, my family, because they could potentially tear that away. He said that I should go to church more, or I should take up meditating, anything spiritual that I could use to battle against whatever was trying to get at me. So I was super scared because I didn't go to a church at that time, and I really didn't like to meditate, so I really didn't know how I was gonna fix this. I did not know where to go after this phone call. So basically, he hung up with me on the phone, and it sunk all into me that this was going to be my life now, that I had to live with this but at least I knew a little bit more about what was going on in my apartment. So about 2 days after that, I went surfing with my guy friends, and around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a phone call from Alex. Alex tells me on the phone, he goes, I think I got rid of it. I think it's gone. I think it's gone. I'm like, what do you think it's gone? Like, what are you talking about? He goes, whatever's in the house, I think it's gone. I think it's gonna leave us alone now. So I'm like happy, but I'm also like, how did you do that? How? Then Alex tells me that he literally just talks to it, leave us alone, that this wasn't the house, and if they were trying to get something, this just wasn't the house to do it in. He said that this was a happy house, it was a happy home, and you essentially, this isn't the place for you. And Alex believed that it was gone. So I went home that night, I was really happy, I was like, yes, it's gone, it's great. And from that moment on, it literally was gone. Paris went back to normal literally the next day. Nothing else weird happened in that house. Everything was normal. So Alex essentially saved the day. He was battling the demon, so that was something that I definitely could not do on my own. So that is where we are with this very long story. It's a crazy story. It is 100% true. I almost wish that it wasn't true. I don't know if people, I don't know. And it's really scary. I can't sleep alone. I have nightmares. I wake up in the middle of the night, seeing things, hearing things. It's definitely not fun. Like I can't even sleep. If Adam falls asleep before me, like I'm creeped out to fall asleep when he's already asleep. So that is this story of how my house got haunted and how my life got haunted. If you know anything about this situation, leave me a comment down below. I would love to learn more if you guys have any information, or if you even know someone on YouTube maybe to recommend me to talk to. I'd literally love to get more insight on what is going on in my life, because it is not fun being followed by different types of scary haunted things, even if they mean no harm. Like, it's not fun when doors are opening and closing and you're home alone. I'm done with that life. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like long story time types of videos. I'm sure I have more stories to tell you, but I figured if I was ever going to do a story time, this would be the story to tell you guys. Also, be sure to subscribe to my vlog channel. Also, I hope this video didn't scare you too much, and I love you guys, and stay out of paranormal trouble. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.